All right, shalom, shalom. First and foremost, giving all praise, glory, and honor be to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rachakwadash, and double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, better known as GMS, who rule well. Peace and salutations unto the hopeful elect, the tabernacle of David, beginning with the 144,000 and the rest of the men, women, and children out of the 12 tribes whom Yahweh Bashem Shai will have mercy upon. I'm your brother Matazabath, and just wanted to do a live impromptu response, setting the record straight with Deacon from Sicarri. Now, for the past, uh, I will say 48 to 72 hours, I did a video response based off a statement that Deacon himself stated when he was trying to basically explain as to why they feel, from their standpoint, of Apostle Paul epistles being less authoritative. Now, what we always say, all right, and make no mistake about it, learning under the elders of Great Millstone, better known as GMS, that, we teach the 100% truth. We don't leave no stone unturned, and we deal with the volume of the book, which includes all of the, whether it be the epistles of Apostle Paul, but also, things that are written from the other disciples, whether it be Matthew, Mark, Luke, Peter. All right, because nevertheless, Peter backed up Paul in Second Peter, the third chapter. So if you're going to state that Apostle Paul's letters were less authoritative, you will have to throw out Peter as well. Now you're going to hear the video of what Deacon stated, but before we even tap into that, all right, for the last 48 to 72 hours, all right, I've been getting a lot of Sicarri supporters coming on my page and having something to say. And now there seems to be a false accusation put out on me because I'm bearing false witness and allegedly I'm breaking the law for coming after Deacon. Now, it's always, all right, these no works having Israelites, okay? They got no works of their own, all right? They don't go out on highways and hedges, no videos for edification, all right? But yet they got all the time in the world, all right, to jump on a cell phone or a laptop or a tablet, all right, to type up what they feel, being in an effeminate type of spirit, all right, defending another man. Now, this individual right here who goes by the YouTube handle Issachar Strong, all right, stated to me, Deacon follows the law. Anybody who follows him knows this. You're actually breaking the law by slandering another Israelite, right? Now, for those who've seen, because this video is starting to go viral based off what I stated, but for those who've seen the video, which goes for 42 minutes and 45 seconds, you can go and watch it on your own time. I've never slandered the man. Matter of fact, let's look up that word slander real quick in the etymology. Because see, it's you got certain Israelites that just, and you're emotional. That's what it is. You are emotional. Okay, you are emotional. Slander, the state of impaired reputation, disgrace, or dishonors, a false tale or report spread maliciously, the fabrication and dissemination of false tales to discredit someone. Now, understanding, if you watch the video, okay, which I got the receipts, we're going to actually watch what the deacon says, and we're going to allow for the receipt to speak for himself to see if I acted or if I actually fabricated or spreading a false report maliciously. We're going to see that. But then he goes on to say, you literally just went on an estrogen field rant, Malak, which first of all, I'm not your brother. I don't know you. All right. Then he goes on to say, I believe it's because you only have 8 likes and 80 views in 6 days. And see, this is why the elder, and that's where his spirit is. What does me having 8 likes and 80 views in 6 days have to do with defending the gospel? This thing is, and this is why we get on niggas like Sicarri and IUIC, because it's not about likes and follows. It's about just preaching the word. I don't care about the likes and the 80 views. That has nothing to do with what we're speaking about in terms of what came out of the deacon's mouth. So you can already see the mindset of this individual. He really thinks that I went on a supposedly rant because I've only have 8 likes and 80 views, which you can't prove that. Were you here when I've done the video? Were you in my mindset? It says, and to sit up there and say that this is a effeminate spirit, because when you go to this person's channel, all right, one subscriber, right? They have no works, nothing. It's always these Israelites that always got something to say, okay? But when you go and check them out, they got nothing. But they rather come on your comment board and just talk out of their ass. So he goes on to say, why don't you contact Deacon and have a discussion with him on what laws you believe he is breaking? Why go on the internet and slander a fellow Israelite? Well, first and foremost, let's get a precept real quick. Let's get another tab open. All right. Let's see here if this wants to work. And let's get Proverbs, the 27th chapter. Because maybe you misread, buddy. All right. Proverbs 27:5. Open rebuke is better than secret love, man. Open rebuke is better than secret love, because this ain't the first time we didn't got on the Deacon and Alazar for that matter, right? But correct me if I'm wrong. The scriptures also states, grab this here real quick, another precept. Come on, man. Internet slow a little bit this morning. 1 Timothy chapter 5 and verse 20, which says, them that sin rebuke before all, that others also may fear. Rebuke before all, that others also may fear. Well, where did he sin, brother? Where did he sin? Well, he made accusations against the apostles, calling out Apostle Tahar, talking about, we got the receipts, we're going to state this, that there's been things that they've done, right? But you want to overlook past that for the simple fact because you are exalting another man. You're not judging, okay, with righteous judgment. And that's over here. That's what we do to the best of our ability. If you're going off, or if you're saying something wrong, we have the right to address it. Just like Sicarri, they have the right to address something that they feel. By all means, go ahead and do that. But we're going to do the same thing. If you're going off stating that Apostle Paul's epistles is less authoritative, you got to show that within the scriptures, homie. Because Apostle Paul was chosen. Let's get Acts 22 real quick. Now, when you read Acts 22 and 13, it says I'll start at verse 12. It says, and one Ananias, a devout man according to the law, having a good report of all the Jews which dwelt there, came unto me and stood and said unto me, brother Saul, receive thy sight. In the same hour I looked up upon him, and he said, the Most High of our fathers hath chosen thee, that thou shouldest know his will and see that just one, and shouldest hear the voice of his mouth, for thou shalt be his witness unto all men of what thou hast seen and heard. Part of what Apostle Paul seen and heard was him going and writing the epistles to those Israelite foreigners. So to sit up there and say that his epistles was less authoritative, under whose jurisdiction were they less authoritative? Because Ananias was a bear witness to him being one of the chosen ones out of the 12 disciples. That's what we stand on. Right now, the scripture says here, Isaiah 41:21, produce your cause, saith the Lord Yahweh, bring forth your strong reason, saith the King of Jacob. So let me go to the video originally that I land back off of. Now, this is the brother, the beloved brother from GMS in Rome, Lions Fire. Subscribe so that you may be edified. Now, what sparked me to do a land back is because the brother here responded by saying, so are we saved by the law or Yahweh Shai Sicarri? Why did the brother ask that? Because in the video, which I'm about to play, it came out of Deacon's mouth, which he said, and he was speaking on my elder Yashawamba from the Dallas camp. It came out of his mouth, okay, by him saying that, well, I heard Elder Yashawamba state we're not going to be saved the law. So why the hell would I follow something and I'm not going to be saved by it? That came out of your mouth. That's the receipt. But you got these idiots coming in the comment chat talking about some you being all, estrogen filled, going on a rant, and you're actually breaking the law by slandering him. We all know that the deacon followed the law. You can't get past what came out of his mouth, man. You can't get past that. The deacon is a false fucking teacher, just like Alazar. They butt hurt. And now they sending their little fucking dominions on our page, man. But here it is. You're going and you getting, you in an effeminate spirit because we're calling it out as it is, man. So they can go on their platform and try to, debate their cause or whatever, but we don't have the right to say what we're saying. Make it make sense. This same video right here that the beloved brother put up is the reason why it inspired me to do a land back, because all I did in my defense was, if anybody, because here's the thing, you have Israelites, right, that are coming into the truth. This is a very good question. Why should I follow the law if it can't save me? Because if we're out there teaching on highways and byways, and we're literally stating that the law cannot save you because you're not going to be justified by the law. You're going to be justified by faith. How the fuck is that going about of slandering the deacon when all I did was just make a land back video, stating the question and breaking it down as to the reason why we teach and preach that. Now, let's actually go to the video itself so you can hear it out of his own mouth, okay, off his page, Deacon Destruction, and you can witness whether we were right in what we said or we were wrong. Title of Deacon's page video is Sicarri Israelites Reject Paul's Writings, GM Mess Response. Right? That's not, well, hey, you putting GM Mess, that's not brotherly love. But yet I'm breaking the law because I'm slandering him. But you didn't say anything about this. You see how Jake works, man? That's Jake for you, right? No accountability. But anyway, let's see what Deacon had to say.
The Lord's brother. The Lord's brother, who was one of the 12, was he not chosen directly by the Messiah? So you see the hypocrisy? James, I'm gonna prove this. I'm gonna show you guys on video. James can go off, but Paul cannot go off. You see that?
And the problem I have with it is James going off. Okay, cool. If Paul went off and James going off, where was the rebuke from the Heavenly Father through the Son, Yahweh Shai? Just a question I'm throwing out. Let's continue.
The hypocrisy, man. It's because they worship Paul just like the Christians worship Paul.
Now it's coming out of his mouth saying that we allegedly worship Paul just like the Christians worship Paul. Well, are not Israelites Christians, starting with the apostles? Let's get that in Acts. What's that? Acts 11 and 26. Acts 11 and 26. And when he had found him, he brought him unto Antioch, and it came to pass that a whole year They assembled themselves with the church and taught much people, and the disciples were called Christians first in Antioch. They didn't call themselves Christians. That was a term put on them, which when you go into it, all a Christian is a follower of Yahushua HaMashiach, which we do that. We follow Yahushua HaMashiach all the way through. We try to, have the faith and endure all the way up into the end. Lord's will. Okay. We know you guys aren't Christians because you don't follow the teachings of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. Like the elder stated, okay, the elder from the Baltimore camp, Biblical Defenders, YouTube handle, he even stated, which makes sense. We know what you're trying to do. You're only Torah Israelites, all right, trying to cover up, all right, coming across as if you down with the both the Old and New Testament, but here it is at the same time. You the same niggas that went and said we don't subscribe to the book of Hebrews. Paul's epistles are less authoritative, although Apostle Paul was one of the chosen, all right, out of the 12 later on. That came out of your mouth. But you have a problem with our response videos because we got it wrong. Now, going back to what he said, let's continue.
GMS are Christians. They say the law can't save you. It's all about, even though the Messiah told you, if the law can't save us, why the hell are we following? I heard Yahshua yesterday say, the law can't save you, but we should follow it. Why the hell should I follow something that can't save me?
Great question, Deacon. You heard what he said. But I'm getting people coming at me saying you're causing slander and everything. We know that the deacon followed the law, this, that, and the third. Maybe you didn't hear it. Let's hear it again, what he just said. Take it back some.
The hell, that's what they say. And we didn't say throw the whole book away. We said he went off in certain places. He had an evolution, meaning he didn't have full understanding, but he grew into great knowledge and wisdom, right? And now watch this, everybody. But they say James went off. Now, imagine saying Paul could never go off, but James can go off.
The Lord's brother.
The Lord's brother, who was one of the 12, was he not chosen directly by the Messiah? So you see the hypocrisy? James, I'm gonna prove this. I'm gonna show you guys on video.
Which, by the way, we don't need to get into that because the apostles, they already broke it down. They already explained it. There's lessons on it to get the full understanding. Now, just because you don't understand, you didn't understand by watching the lesson of the videos, that's your own prerogative, right? But let's continue because that's not what it's about. I'm not here for James going off and Apostle Paul didn't. No, I'm here for what he said about the law.
Yo, James can go off, but Paul cannot go off. You see that? The hypocrisy, man. It's because they worship Paul just like the Christians worship Paul.
And there's no proof in that. There's no proof in that. That's why Apostle Peter stated what he stated in 2 Peter, the 3rd chapter.
GMS are Christians. They say the law can't save you. It's all about, even though the Messiah told you, if the law can't save us, why the hell are we following? I heard Yahshua yesterday say, the law can't save you, but we should follow it. Why the hell should I follow something that can't save me? Anyway.
You see what I mean? You see what I'm saying? That came out of his mouth. You heard it. Why should I follow something that I can't keep? And all I did, just to land back off the brother's video from GMS in Rome, Lions on Fire, was I made a lesson to pretty much go into why we stated that the law can't save you, but though you still shall follow it, because according to the scriptures, okay, we will rehearse the righteous acts. This is Judges chapter 5 and verse 11. Judges chapter 5, verse 11, which says, they that are delivered from the noise of the archers, which represents what's the missiles that's coming to Babylon the Great, America, and the places of drawing water where we, went across the water, okay, slavery, there shall they rehearse the righteous acts of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. What is the righteous acts? We rehearsing the law. That's why it tells you in the book of Baruch that in the land of our captivity, we shall remember ourselves. Part of remembering ourselves is coming back to our heritage, which what? What is our heritage? What was given to us as an heritage? Let's go to real quick, Sirach, the 17th chapter. What was given to us as an heritage? Right? This is Sirach chapter 17 and verse 11, which says, besides this, he gave them knowledge and the law of life for an heritage. That's our heritage. But in our line of defense, what we are saying is that because he asked the question, why should I follow the law if it can't save it? Right? He asked that because he stated out of his own mouth, well, I heard Elder Yashawama state that the law is not going to save you. So why should I follow something if it's not going to save me? That's the question that was being asked. And all I did was just respond by breaking it down as to why we should follow the law. Because the difference is what we teach is that, yes, the law is not going to save you because we are not justified by the law, but we are justified by faith. The way Sicarri goes about it, starting with their head honcho, Al-Azhar, is that they boast in the law. These are the same guys that turn around and say, we don't worship Yahweh Shai, even though the scriptures tells you to kiss the son lest he be angry. I've done a video on that. The scriptures tells you in the New Testament that man came up and actually worshiped him. Were they going off? And those that worshiped him, never once did Yahweh Shai rebuke them for worshiping him. But we're wrong. That's hypocrisy within itself. That's to me, that's a laughing matter right there. But we're wrong though. You see what I mean, man? So let's look this up. Let's get some precepts and see what comes up when you put in justified by faith. Might have spelled the wrong Salakia. Let's see what we get. You type in justified by faith, or it could be, here we go. First precept, Romans 3 and verse 28. Therefore, we conclude that a man is justified by faith without the deeds of the law. So what you got to understand, and this is why we know they don't worship Yahweh Shai, because if you're going to rely on the law to save you, which is the same issue between those certain men that came down from Judea in Acts 15 chapter, when they had a dispensation between the beloved apostle Paul and Barnabas, right? You got the same Israelites back then that was causing all of this nonsense and bullshit. You just backing your lot again today. That's all you doing. That's why we say that you're not going to be justified by the law. So that's what we mean when we say that the law is not going to save you. If you are hell bent on just, you wearing your fringes, you going doing a Passover every year, you boasted in your works, you're allowing for your works, right, to overshine your faith or whatever. That's what we're getting on, because these brothers come across as of that. Romans 5 and 1, therefore being justified by faith, we have peace with the Most High through our Lord Yahweh Shai Mashiach. Galatians 2 and 16, knowing that a man is not justified by the works of the law, but by faith of Yahweh Shai Mashiach, even we have believed in Yahweh Shah Mashiach, that we might be justified by faith of Hamashiach. That's what we're leaning on. We're not leaning on our own works. It says, and also, and not by the works of the law, for by the works of the law shall no flesh be justified. That's Galatians 2:16. But oh, wait a minute. Maybe I can't use that because Paul's epistles are less authoritative. But we just read in Acts the 22nd chapter, Ananias, right, told Paul that you were chosen from the Most High to be a witness. That's why he said in Acts 22nd chapter that you came unto the just one. Who's the just one? Yahweh Shai. Did not Yahweh Shai say no man can come to the Father except through me? Maybe I don't know what I'm talking about. Maybe we got it wrong. Apostle Paul was literally chosen. The scriptures tell you that the Father who he chooses, okay, you go through his son. So that's the whole reason why when you read Acts the 26th chapter, when Apostle Paul was speaking to King Agrippa, he told him, all right, the story on how he was knocked off, fell down to the earth on the ground, and Yahweh Shah came through to him because he was a chosen vessel. This is the BS we are addressing. So don't fucking come on our comment board talking madness and bullshit. You can't get out of that. It came out of your mouth. And then you got nerve to sit up there and bear false witness on us, saying that we are slandering the deacon. If anybody go back and watch my video, I never slandered the brother when I actually brought receipts, and I'm bringing a receipt again and showing you it came out of his own mouth. I would love for them to break down Galatians 2:16, Galatians 3:11, but that no man is justified by the law in the sight of the Most High. In other words, the Heavenly Father is not looking at how many times did you wear your fringes, how many times did you actually keep the Sabbath perfectly. We can't keep the Sabbath perfectly. Some brothers and sisters may have to work on the actual day when the scripture says you're not supposed to do any servile work. Does not it tell you in the book of Baruch that we are yet this day in our captivity, subject to payments? That's why we have grace. Where you fall short in the law, okay, Yahweh Shai's blood covers you. That's what we are dependent on. That's where our faith comes into part. That's why we say that you're not going to be justified by the law. The law can't save you, man. No, you brothers is wrong, man. We know that the deacon followed the law. What about the deacon's faith? What about that? What about faith? All this talk about the law, which don't get it twisted. The law is a beautiful thing, man. But you're not going to be justified by it because faith and works go hand in hand. You not only have to keep the law to the best of your ability, but you also have to have faith. That's the biggest part. Galatians 3:24, wherefore the law was our schoolmaster to bring us unto Hamashiach, that we might be justified by faith. James 2:24, ye see then how that by works a man is justified and not by faith only. Right, because you not only have to keep the law, but you also have to have faith. But you're not leaning into the intent that the law is going to save you. That's the difference. That's all we're saying. But you coming at us like we did something. Well, brother, you get no. How about you fucking stop being effeminate? Gird up your loins and show yourself to be men, man. Because where were y'all at when he turned around and said what he said about the epistles being less authoritative? When he said about the book of Hebrews, where were you niggas at then? If you're going to stand on something like, the scriptures talk about, roughly paraphrasing, you shouldn't be exhorting men. But y'all coming on my comment board, getting on me, trying to speak for Deacon. Let the Deacon speak for himself. You don't need to go to bat for his don't fight his battles. And I'm not trying to make this a thing because this is not about going back and forth. I'm just setting the record straight. based off my premises on why I did the response video. That's it. Nothing else. I don't care if people have a problem with me. You go right ahead. At the end of the day, that's not going to stop this truth from coming out. That's all we're saying. It's not going to stop the truth from coming out. You heard out of his own mouth, okay, what he stated. Now, if I go back and play the video of the Salak, I keep saying elder, of the brother from GMS and Rome Lions Fire, he made a good point because he titled it, so are we saved by the law or Yahweh Shai? And the reason why he named it the title of this video, so are we saved by the law or Yahweh Shai, is because this same individual, Deacon, okay, they went on a rampage on us stating that, saying that we don't worship Yahweh Shai. You're not supposed to worship Yahweh Shai. That's why the brother made the title. So which one is it? Because if you're saying that based off the Elder Yashawama's response is saying that the law can't save you, and then it came out of your own mouth stating that, well, why the hell should I follow something that can't save me? So now I'm confused as well, because wait a minute. So are you allegedly saying that, so are we going to be saved by the law or Yahweh Shai? Which one is it? That's where faith comes. Once again, justified by faith. Does not it say in Isaiah 8:20 to the law and the testimony? What is the testimony? The spirit of Yahweh Shai, Revelation 19:10. To the law and to the testimony, if they speak not according to this word, it is because there is no light in them. Is not Apostle Paul's epistles according to the word? Or else why would they be with the other? Why would they be in there with Peter, Matthew, John, if he wasn't speaking according to the word? Make it make sense. If it was less authoritative, why is it written in the volume of the book? Make that make sense. We don't sound crazy. We just asking a question.
I told you, if the law can't save us, why the hell are we following? I heard Yashawamba yesterday say, the law can't save you, but we should follow it. Why the hell should I follow something that can't save me?
Romans chapter 6, verse 14 and 15. For sin shall not have dominion over you, for you are not under the law, but under grace. What then? Shall we sin because we are not under the law, but under grace? Yahweh forbid. I want to give our praises and honor.
And that's pretty much the whole point of the video. Same thing I brought out, just went around it about it a different way. Let's grab that precept. I'm gonna go Romans chapter 3, or actually Romans 4, because I want to bring out something. Now, in this chapter, this is an example of our forefather Abraham, justification by faith, evidence in Old Testament. Because you have, unfortunately, you got Israelites out here that go by the Torah only, okay, not understanding that Abraham was justified by faith. He wasn't justified on just the law. Case in point, not only having this, this person here who absolutely has no idea what he's talking about, I had to address this individual because listen to what he said. This is wrong understanding, brother, because we went in slavery for breaking the law. So being saved from slavery is coming back to the law. You will be judged on how you keep the law. That's just logic. You don't need a scripture to understand that. Now, for those people who know, I've already did a video addressing this individual, because that's nowhere in the scripture that says that, you got to come back to the law. You're going to be judged on how you keep the law. That's not biblical. That is not scriptural. See, now all you niggas is doing is you're being overly emotional. You're responding with your emotions. You're not actually understanding. The scriptures is plain where it says, answer not thou if you don't have no understanding, roughly paraphrasing. You should have kept your mouth shut. You making yourself look bad by coming up on here and commenting what you're commenting. Doesn't make any damn sense. Then you get mad at us when we come out with the edification and the rebuke videos. This is not a rebuke out of hatred. This is actually a rebuke out of love, so that you can get the proper understanding. I'm not doing this because I have any ill will intent against any brother, man. I don't have nothing against Deacon. Everybody knows my story. I even told my wife this morning, because before I came under the tutelage of GMS, I started out with IUIC. I used to watch IUIC and Sicarri. And I got messed up between the doctrines because Sicarri's doctrine is similar to GMS. They just go off on a few things. That's all. And IUIC, their way, their doctrine is towards like the Christianity church. And there's a brother who I'll never forget, okay, from the same area I'm from Chicago, that through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shem Shah, the spirit hopped on that brother, and he was the first one to send me the apostles and elders of Great Millstones lessons. That's how I was, that's how I got the understanding. The spirit hopped on me. I said, you know what? This is it right here. This is what I needed. It was faith within me. And those who know me from TikTok and everything, I stand on that, because that has been the same story I done told. Never switched up from day one. I always give credit where credit is due. Never switched up. And if it hadn't been for that brother through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shem Shah, I easily could have been persuaded in IUIC. My decision making and what I went through with IUIC nearly cost my family household, because those brothers teach that if your woman is not in the truth, if your woman is not in the faith, and I don't, I'm not trying to digress, but I'm just giving the example. What happens when you follow all of these different doctrines? They have a doctrine to teach that if your woman is not in the truth, you can't be with her. Now, there's so many things that they have covered and hidden. Imagine how many brothers left the camp in the school because they've caused a lot of divorces. And I'm not blaspheming or making that up. There's receipts out. There's people that have come out of the woodwork to share testimonies. But we're lying and bearing false witness on these individuals. Come on, man. That's hypocrisy within itself. Just like the beloved elder Apostle Tahar said to Bishop Nate, how the hell can you sit up there and teach brothers that if their woman is not in the truth, they got to divorce them? But what about 1 Corinthians, the 7th chapter? Break that down. 1 Corinthians, the 7th chapter goes against that. So you're teaching your congregation the wrong thing. You're not supposed to know what a man, you're not supposed to sit at council and know what the relationship between a man and a woman. That's above, that's too great for you. That's in Proverbs, the 30th chapter. That's between that man and that woman. But we got it wrong. You see what I'm saying? Then they hate us. Then they want to come and go to bat for us. Well, y'all wrong. You should be doing. No, see, and that's why we're going to keep doing what we're doing through the spirit and the power of Yahweh Shem Shai. We stick to the doctrine, what's written. That's all it is, man. Now, going back on this, because I'm getting ready to close out, Romans 4:1, I'm going to get into NLT. Because I want to make this point dealing with Abraham. Romans 4:1, it says, Abraham was, humanly speaking, the founder of our, now that should be Israelite nation. What did he discover about being made right with the Most High? So the question is being asked, right? Pardon me. Verse 2, if his good deeds had made him acceptable to the Most High, he would have had something to boast about. But that was not the Most High's way. For the scriptures tell us, Abraham believed the Most High, and the Most High counted him as righteous because of his faith, which ultimately, if you have faith, the faith is going to lead you into keeping the commandments. That's why James said faith and works go hand in hand. That's the same thing I stated in my previous lesson. I broke it down. Right? Verse 4, when people work, their wages are not a gift, but something they have earned. But people are counted as righteous not because of their work, but because of their faith in the Most High, who forgives sinners. David also spoke of this when he described the happiness of those who are declared righteous without working for it. Right? But this individual, Issachar Strong, Deacon, follows the law. Cool. Good for him. What about his faith? Does that count for anything at the end of the day? This is why we're saying you're not going to be justified by the law, but through faith. That's why we state that the law is not going to save you. Because if you think the law is going to save you and you're going to be justified by it, then you pretty much you're shitting on Yahweh Shah's sacrifice. Or else wouldn't have been no need for the Messiah to come on the scene and to do what he did by putting his body as a living sacrifice, starting with the elect of Israel and ultimately ended up for the whole nation of Israel. Wouldn't have been no need for him to be spat on, mocked, laughed, scoffed, pierced through the side, take all of that humiliation for what he did, man. That's like you put in the open shame. You saying, a nigga, we don't care about you. That's basically what you're saying at the end of the day. Because you want to be justified in the law. You see what I'm saying? It don't make sense. Anyway, coming back over here, Romans 4:7. Oh, what joy for those whose disobedience is forgiven, whose sins are put out of sight. Yes, what joy for those who record Yahweh has cleared of sin. Now, is this blessing only for the Jews, the ones who were brought up within the circumcision, or is it also for the uncircumcised Gentiles, the Israelite foreigners who were not brought up in the customs, which ultimately goes back to the time of the Maccabees, because you had Israelites, wicked Israelites, that wanted to take on the customs of the heathens, but also those Israelites, there was other Israelites under that manner, under Antiochus Epiphanes, that were forced to leave off from keeping the law, statutes, and commandments. It says, well, we have been saying that Abraham was counted as righteous by the Most High because of his faith. But how did this happen? Was he counted as righteous only after he was circumcised, or was it before he was circumcised? Clearly, the Most High accepted Abraham before he was circumcised. Circumcision was a sign that Abraham already had faith and that the Most High had already accepted him and declared him to be righteous. Right. Because ultimately, like it states in the book of Deuteronomy, circumcise your heart. So what would have happened was when Abraham walked by faith and not by sight, all right, his heart was already circumcised before he got the physical circumcision. It says, so Abraham is the spiritual father of those who have faith but have not been circumcised. And it's not talking about the spiritual father of everybody who believes. This is only dealing with the Israelites. It says they are counted as righteous because of their faith. But you heard out of Deacon's mouth, well, I heard Elder Yashawamba say, the law is not going to save you. So why should I follow something if it's not going to save me? Man, you see? So I really don't. I mean, this is a great chapter, but that's where it is, man. Okay, that's where I stand with all of this. So if anybody got a problem with it, hey, that's your prerogative. You can have all the problems you want to in the world. It's still not going to stop the freight train from continue to move forward. We still going to defend the gospel, and that's what we're standing on. That's what we're standing on. I don't have really anything else I have to say after this. I'm setting the record straight with Deacon from Sicarri. I don't need to go and debate this guy. Why do you need to debate somebody for? Debate called that tells you that in Romans, the 1st chapter, causes contention and strife and everything. And I say this all the time. You want to come up on here, you want to debate, there's not going to be no edification out of it. Because 9 times out of 10, Jake is not hearing to understand. Jake is hearing to fucking rebuttal. You're not debating. You know, when you go out there and you state your stance, you're not hearing to listen. You're hearing to rebuttal. That's the majority of our people. But anyway, that's all I got to say on that. Lord's will, this was edifying. It's on to the next. Lord's will. Shalom.